All right, hello and good evening to everybody out there. You're watching Amateur Radio Roundtable. It's a show about ham radio, amateur radio, whatever you like to call it. If you're out there listening tonight on WBCQ, we welcome you. You're probably a shortwave listener. That's how many of us got started in ham radio. I remember those days. Boy, I had a lot of fun shortwave listening. And people are still doing it. If you're out there listening on WBCQ on 7490, hey, shoot us an email to Tom at W5KUB, Tom at W5KUB.com, and tell us where you are in the world and how you're hearing the station. Love to hear from you. Also, if you will, tonight, hit that subscribe button. We need you to hit the subscribe button. It helps us out a whole lot. There you go. I'm pointing at it right now. I think I'm pointing at it. You guys have to tell me if that button's down there. I don't see it here, but I think it's down there somewhere. So, maybe it's on a recorded version and not the live. I don't know, but it's going to be down there. So please hit that subscribe button. And, hey, we welcome everybody to join our Facebook group. Our Facebook group is called Amateur Radio Roundtable. It follows this group. Although that's a really long name to type in. If you just type in W5KUB into the Facebook search, it'll pull up the group, and we will approve you. And we've got about 12,000, 13,000 hams in the group, and you can get help on just about anything you need. We got all types of people in there. So please join our Facebook group. I mentioned WBCQ. We're on WBCQ every Thursday afternoon. Our show is broadcast every Thursday afternoon from 5 to 7 p.m. on Eastern Time out of Monticello, Maine on WBCQ. And for you guys that, hey, listen to podcasts, we're on about every podcast carrier out there. iTunes, Google Play, iNet Radio, all the different people out there are starting to carry us, and we're being picked up more and more podcast carriers every week. So we've got a lot of people. They're actually have actually sent me several emails of people that have listened just to the podcast. So we got all types of people. You got people that want to watch the video or want to listen on shortwave, and then you got people that want to listen to the podcast maybe as they drive across town or go to work. So we thank you for being a part of our group here. Let's see what's going on. Hey, Glenn, how you doing tonight, man? You've been working pretty hard today. Or you look pretty refreshed there, man.
Yeah, had to go in today. Got to go in tomorrow and Thursday and Friday. I mean, I just have to work for my living now. You know, we got to do something about that. But yeah, we're doing that, and then of course at night we're working on the book and stuff. So just rolling right along for right now. You know, biggest thing for me is, you know, the weather's starting to change. It was, you know, still kind of a little warm this morning, but it cooled down after that front came through today. So I'm like, let's bring on the winter, bring on the cold.
All right, man. Hey, it's cooled off a little here, but you know what? We had some wind. What was it, today?
Yeah, we did.
I don't know if it was today or yesterday. I think it was today.
Well, you remember I work for the power company, right?
Yeah.
Our building lost power.
Is that right? Well, I was hoping that we would lose power here, and but we never did. Boy, the wind blew, and man, these 100-foot trees out here, you could hear them moving out there, and it dropped a lot of leaves. I got all my leaves up this week, and now my yard is covered in leaves again, man.
Yep. I'm not sure if we didn't pay our bill or whatever, but yeah, our power went out for a minute or two this afternoon.
Yeah, y'all might want to try to get power from somebody else. Y'all keep losing power like that, man.
Yeah, we might want to talk about that.
Or, hey, I can help you there, man. We can put you in a home generator there at your office.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they just love me bringing that in.
Yeah. We'll run it on natural gas, you know, so
yeah.
that would work really good there. Okay. Well, hey, man, glad to see you. Look like you're doing good there. And, hey, I before the show, I heard you say that you don't have to go in the office but twice a week now.
Yeah, that's going to be starting real soon, that I'm going to go back to the 2 days a week in the office and 3 days working remotely.
Yeah, that is that's pretty cool there, man.
Yeah, it's nice being able to work when you're sitting there in your pajamas with a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Now, are you actually working or are you doing other things?
No, I'm actually
I want to know
working.
the truth, you know.
No, they assign me special projects kind of
Do
thing.
they?
So no, I'm actually working for my living.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. I mean, our electric bills are getting so high. I didn't want to pay in a lot of people that we don't really need, you know, on the job.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, no. I got to
that
buy
brings
new
up,
toys.
That brings up a point here. Hey, man, I hear 75%. I don't know if you guys have seen this. 75% of Twitter staff is going to get canned. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Man, you know, Elon says he's gonna lay off or fire 75% of the Twitter staff, and you know, hey, that might work. You know, hey, the company I worked for before, big company, worldwide company. Let me tell you, every year when we do budgets, every department would put more and more people in. You know, we got this new project coming up. You know, well, they forget about 3 or 4 years ago. They kept asking for people, and those projects are all gone now. You know.
Yep.
But they just keep asking for people, and I bet you a lot of these places could trim a lot of people off, man. I mean, I hate to think about people losing their jobs, but man,
you betcha.
Man. Maybe we can trim some of the IRS agents off.
Yeah, they got about 85,000 we can trim right now.
Don't get me talking about that one. Okay. hey, let's go to Rich there before he falls asleep up there in New Jersey. How you doing, Rich?
I'm doing fine, thank you, and I am managing to stay awake. So,
all right,
a scintillating conversation here to keep everybody awake.
Yeah, well, we try to, you know, just cover all aspects of what's going on, you know, here in the beginning of the show. So, if hey guys in the chat room, if we forgot anything, let us know in the chat room, and we can surely talk about it tonight. We have the time to. All right, well, hey, Rich, why don't we just jump right into CQ, and let's talk CQ tonight, and what do you got for us?
Well, for starters, and I think I mentioned this when I was here 2 weeks ago because we had a scheduling issue, but our calendars are in, but I didn't have one in my hand at the time. Now I have two, so I can. This is our amateur radio calendar. The front cover is a montage of photos that Joe Eisenberg, K0NEB, shot at the Dayton Ham Pension.
That's cool.
Which was back for the first time in 3 years in person. And we've got all sorts of great pictures in there. I don't know what you can see. Got to get this lined up with the camera here. Can't really do much here. I'll just, this one's...
we're doing pretty good. We're seeing them pretty good.
Yeah. So this is a shot from Yoda Camp.
Oh, yeah.
For young ladies.
Cool.
Who are working satellites.
Uh-huh.
And we've got a second calendar this year. This is a fun one. The Ham Shack Project Calendar. We took pictures of different projects from articles in CQ over the past couple of years and looked for the most interesting, most fun-looking pictures and put them all together. We've got this real breadboard transmitter on the cover. And we've got a bunch of other stuff. Here's another picture from Joe's column. This is the Morcerino 32 that he built as a fancy code oscillator. And out of all the projects are on a bench, of course, because we've got this one too.
Hey, look at there, man.
Yeah,
I'm impressed.
Your one of your balloon projects, and it's I think this is the one that went around the world. One of the ones that went around the world 3 times.
Yeah.
So we've got the tracking map on that, and you with the balloon in there.
Oh, cool.
And so these both calendars are available now. They are just go to our website at www.cq-amateur-radio.com. I believe they are $14.95 each plus postage, so a good deal. You get them for yourself, for your friends, and you can hang them all over the place.
Well, that's cool.
Lots of great pictures.
Cool. I knew I made the first calendar. I had no idea I was in your second calendar there. Cool.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, keep the interesting pictures coming, and we'll
All right.
keep you in there.
We'll do that.
So, moving on to the November issue of CQ, which this is a fun issue. We've got we start out with an article we call "Contesting with Wolves." It's a profile of the contest station ZV4SL. The SL stands for Serra de Lopo in Brazil, and the Portuguese for Wolf Mountain. And this is a group of contesters who go up to the top of this mountain. It's kind of a mix between summits on the air and hardcore contesting. They take a full contest station up with them to the top of this mountain and set up in tents. I don't know how well you can see this because it's a black and white picture, but they operate there from a tent on a mountaintop, the Wolf Mountain, and they set up and tear down. So it's kind of field day and summits on the air and dedicated contesting all in one. They set up next to these will be in color in the magazine, of course. They set up next to the point where people jump off for hang gliding. So it's all the people standing on the edge of the cliff there are waiting to go hang gliding, and they're on the radio behind you here. That is a fun story to start out with. We've speaking of contesting, we've got the results of the 2022 WPX CW contest, and they were I forget where they placed in that, but that was I think they were active in this contest as well. Along the lines of contest, we've also got the rules for the 2023 CQ Worldwide 160 meter contest coming up CW weekend, last weekend in January, and the single sideband weekend, the last weekend in February, and also the CQDX Marathon, which runs all year. That's got the rules there. We have a new marathon director this year, John Sweeney, K9EL, has been doing this for 17 years now, and he decided it was time to pass the baton. So we're going to be having the marathon in the capable hands of Mark Walschlegel, WC3W is his call. And he's got a lot of plans to grow the contest and get more things connected with it. So it should be fun. Speaking of fun, I love this article and what we were able to do with it. This one is called The Almost Heath Kit by N8RS. He's a gentleman who was a technician at Heathkit many years ago, and he has the only existing SS8000 transceiver. This was the Almost Heathkit. It was designed in the end of the 1970s. So all solid state, digital readouts, really top of the line for that time. And then Work 79 came along and we got 3 new bands. So they scrapped the whole project and redid it as the SS9000, which Bob was the chief technician on. He built the prototype for it. He doesn't have a 9000, but he does have an 8000. He had to put it together from a box full of parts that he found. And then we found, from 1984, our review of the SS9000, which we're running as the CQ Classic for this month. So it's great when you can tie things together like that. We've also got a piece on using an HF Wyndham antenna on 50 megahertz. 6 meters was hot this summer, and still got some good stuff going on. There's been some TEP, trans-equatorial propagation, from the southern tier of the U.S. down into South America, and so it's a good time for an antenna article for 6 meters, especially when you can get an HF antenna to do double duty, or in this case quadruple duty, because it It's a multi-band HF antenna that you can now also use on 6. Good news for our shortwave listeners out there. The Jerry Dexter, our listening post editor, reports that the World Radio TV Handbook will continue to be published, both in print and digital. He's got a little blurb on that in November and some more details coming up in his December column as well. So any of you who have depended on the World Radio TV Handbook for the past however many years, many years, to give you a guide to what, where, and when on the shortwave bands, it will still be there. That's very good news. Our emergency communications editor, K3PFW, writes about planning this month, and he starts it out with a quote from General Eisenhower, who said, "Plans are nothing, planning is everything." And he goes on to explain the difference and the importance of knowing the difference there. K0NEB in his kit building column offers some holiday gifts for builders, and this is a real good idea to do that in November with the supply chain issues being what they are. It's a good time to, good idea to order anything you want for Christmas, probably now, and hope that you'll have it by then. So I certainly wouldn't wait till the last minute ordering stuff. Our homing in editor, K0OV, has a report on the World Fox Hunting Championships in Bulgaria and some fox hunting at the Yoda camp in Ohio. We had the pictures of the young ladies operating satellites. They also had a fox hunting competition there. Digital editor into IRZ has a report on the 41st annual Digital Communications Conference, which was held in Charlotte, North Carolina this year. It's the 41st annual. I remember going to, I shouldn't say this, I date myself. I remember going to some of the very early ones back in the mid-'80s, I guess it was. Our awards column this month is about the Worked All Italian Provinces Award. So this is something most people can do pretty easily. You know, Italy is a very amateur active country, and it's not difficult to work stations in Italy. So we got some great awards there that are offered by ARI, the National Association, for different levels of accomplishment in working Italian provinces and some other stuff as well. So that's good award to go after. Our DX editor has a report on the Northern California DX Foundation's RIB project, that stands for Radio in a Box. And this has the potential to really change the expeditions. It is a self-contained station in a box, and it's remotely controlled. So people who are going on a de-expedition are, one of the problems that we've been running into on big de-expeditions in particular is that a lot of places that are high on the most wanted list are also very ecologically sensitive, usually islands. And the authorities are very reluctant to allow a group of people to go spend 2 weeks on the island and put up tents and antenna masts and all sorts of stuff and tromp around on the ground and disturb the wildlife and the plants. So there's been more and more difficulty in getting approvals to operate from a lot of these places. And the Radio in a Box has the potential to make that a lot easier, because what it is a relatively small box of radio equipment with one antenna that you can attach to it, or maybe a couple. And you go in, you put the box on the island, get it set up, and get the antenna set up, and then go back to your boat. And the team operates the station remotely from the boat. They're still down there. The transmitter and antennas are on the island, so it's a valid de-expedition QSO. But they are on the safety of the boat, and the island is safe from ecological damage as well. except for just going in to set it up and then coming back to tear it down. So this has a lot of potential to make it possible to operate from a lot of these ecologically sensitive areas. So that's a really good thing, and looking forward to development of that. And finally, our propagation editor, NW7US, writes about expected propagation for November, and looking pretty good. Of course, as we move into winter, the low bands get better as the seasonal noise from lightning decreases, and the evening hours stretch out longer, so the nighttime bands are better, and all sorts of DX possibilities. And it's kind of like 6 meters. When you go up to the other end of the HF spectrum, I know a lot of people think that 80 and 40 meters and 160 are only good for local domestic QSOs. Maybe regional, you get on 40 and you can work a couple 100 miles. When you get on 40 at night, it's a whole different world. And you can work the world on 40 meters at night, and 80 and 160 as well. So don't be fooled by people who say that these are only regional bands. And that's basically what we've got coming up in the November issue. It's heading out from the printer now into the mail, and the digital edition will be online a week from now on the 1st of November. And that's basically it. I believe our subscription special is still going on with an extra issue for each year you sign up for. So if you sign up for 1 year, you get 13 issues. Sign up for 2 years, you get 26. Sign up for 3 years, you get 39. So it's a really good deal. So you can go to the same address you'd go to order your calendars. Please do. www.cq-amateur-radio.com. Click on the store button, pick your favorite calendar, pick your preferred subscription term, and we can get you taken care of real quickly. So that's what I've got for you this
All right.
month, Ted.
Well, hey, sounds like interesting articles are coming up there. Can't wait to see them. And, this radio in a box thing, that's kind of a unique deal. I mean, now, if a ship is in the water near the island, wouldn't that still count as the island?
Yeah, and what really counts is not where the operators are; it's where the radio and the antenna are.
Yeah, but let's say, for instance, if there was a ship, they were operating in a ship, they were anchored off of Heard Island. I mean, that would still be classified as Heard Island, right? Even if you're on the ship.
I think that the station, for DXCC purposes, the station has to be on the land, on the island.
Yeah.
And so you couldn't operate from the ship even in the waters of that territory.
Well,
and have it count. I mean, there was a big, a lot of big controversy way back in the 60s and 70s about some DX positions where the operator claimed to be on the island, but actually was on the ship off the island at the time. And so this would avoid a repeat of that by putting the station on the island, but the operators would have, the relative safety of the ship. They'd get real food. They wouldn't have to sleep on the ground with all sorts of critters coming into their tents. So it would be better for them and better for the island and for all those critters and plants that are not going to be disturbed by having a bunch of people running around.
Well, I'd like to see some more detail on that. For instance, you can't just put a box on an island, man. You got to have generators running and gasoline in those generators, or maybe a power source or something. I don't know.
Well, the article this month has a lot of those details in it, so you can take a look at it, and you can find out more. Maybe you can get somebody from Northern California DX Foundation to join you one evening and
Yeah, that
talk
might
about
be
it
that might be a
in
good
greater
topic
detail.
to have someone on here about the radio in a box and just talk about it. You know, it's a new concept, and that'd be cool. I do have a lot of questions. You know.
Well, you could get one of those big batteries that'll, 85 amp hour batteries, and just set it out there and then swap it out, charge it while on the boat or whatever.
Yeah, I guess.
Or like Mark's got in the chat room, just a long extension cord back to the ship.
Yeah.
There's this really cool thing called solar power.
Yeah, I think I'm looking to see if I've got something that jumps out at me here on power.
I can imagine that solar would be good. Now, of course, it'd have to, run on battery at night, and of course, all that's possible. But I think doesn't a lot of these the expeditions run a little bit of power? I mean, they're not just all low power, are they?
Well, they don't. Not necessarily. It depends on what you can get access to.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at the scanning through the article here to see what they talk about in terms of power.
Yeah, you can have a guy standing in the water and holding the wire together, to hold the extension cord together.
Yeah, that might be tough, and it is salt water, so it will conduct a little better, right?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, Rich, thanks so much, man, for sharing it with us. Looking forward to it.
My pleasure.
And everybody, be sure and get your calendar there.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what's on your Christmas list. I mean, I've been buying up my Christmas stuff left and right, but I want to see if there's anything I missed.
All right.
Ready.
So, hey, let me mention, and I told the guys I would do this, the Hamfest coming up in Crowley's Ridge. That's probably not within striking range of most people that are watching the show here, but we do have a few people around, close enough they may attend. I know a lot of people from Missouri will attend, and Arkansas, maybe a few from Tennessee. That's the Crowley's Ridge Amateur Radio Club's second annual Swap Fest, Saturday, October 29th. From 8 to 12. They've got a nice facility there. I forget what the facility is. I can't read the fine print here. Maybe you can there. It's in some type municipal building, I think. I don't know if it's something like the Guard or something. I don't know. But they got.
It is the Truman Sports Complex.
Okay.
In Truman, Arkansas.
Yeah, they've got. It's. If it's raining or whatever, you're inside, and it's a fairly nice deal. We went last year. Glenn sold a lot of stuff last year, or he carried a lot of stuff. I don't know how much he sold, but
I didn't really sell a whole lot. But between that and the subsequent Hamfest, I got enough to buy the FT 101. So yeah, I sold stuff.
Yeah, well, and it was small. They feel like it's going to be bigger this year. It takes several years for a word to get out and, new people to start attending. So you're thinking the attendance is going to be bigger this year. And I'm thinking about going up there. It's only about an hour drive from my home. So I'm going to go. I wish Glenn was going, but he's saying he's going to have to work on his book.
Yeah, I'm starting to fall behind, so I need to spend every minute I can working on that and get it done by Christmas.
Yeah.
Speaking of this weekend,
Uh-huh.
If you can't go to that Hamfest, you should get on the radio for the CQ Worldwide DX contest, single sideband weekend.
Oh, there you
this
go.
Weekend.
All right.
Starts at 0 UTC Saturday, which for most of us is Friday night, and runs through 23:59 on Sunday. And you can work the world many times over because the propagation is hot.
Yeah, it would be. I'm not a contester myself, but I do like picking up new countries and things like that. And it'd be an opportunity to. There's going to be plenty of people on in a lot of new places. So.
Yeah, I think the expeditions are going to be back in business this year, so you're going to have an opportunity to work some remote places. And so, yeah, even if you're not in it for the competition, then but if you enjoy DXing and working far off places and unusual places, it's a great opportunity for you. One of the things I always love with our contests is being able to watch propagation.
Yes.
And to be on, over the course of the day, and you watch as the band opens up to, say, Europe in the morning, and then shifts across, and then midday you're working south, you're working the center, and then by the evening you're working over to the west coast from here and into the Pacific. It just gives you the opportunity to really visualize what is going on in the ionosphere and how your signals are traveling. And that's one of the things that I've always loved about the contest, is that opportunity to learn and visualize where your signals are going.
Yeah, and I want to second that. One of my favorite contests is the WPX sideband contest. And let me tell you, you can work just so many states and countries during that contest. I mean, you can get almost everything.
Well, at least you will hear new places now. There may be some congestion. You may have to try kind of hard and multiple times to get through, but that's the fun of it, you know.
That's the
making
fun.
the contact, yeah.
And, learning strategy and listening for how the station is responding to calls and figuring out the way to get your call in there, especially if you're not a big gun. Most of us aren't. I've got 100 watts and a vertical antenna, and I'm certainly not a big gun on a contest, but I managed to make my share of contacts and have fun doing it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the only time I've run more than 100 watts was when I was over at Tom's place a couple months back.
I told you we shouldn't run 8,000 watts, but no, you had to crank it up.
Well, it was there.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if the FCC ever finds out about that, man. By the way, that was KW5GP, by the way.
We used your call.
8,250 watts, I think, is what it was.
Yeah, the call was W5KUB.
That was Glenn Popiel, if anybody out there is listening. All right.
Just don't tell anybody about it.
That's right.
That's
nobody,
right.
Hey, nobody watches the show anyway, so you're okay, Glenn.
Nobody will find out.
Nobody will find out, Hey, now, they may hear it on shortwave, though,
Yeah.
Yeah, we better. I'll try to beep that out on the shortwave show.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we don't want that going out, man. All right. Well, hey, man, I have been working like crazy the last couple of days trying to meet a deadline. I've got a deadline of about 3 or 4 more days here to get our trackers over to Todd McKinney, KN4TPG, who is going to take them down to Antarctica and launch them for us. So if you haven't heard, we're going to have 2 flights launched from Antarctica. I would guess probably within the next 30 days. He's going to go down I think November 6th, and he'll start launching then. So we're really excited about that. Man, I was packaging one up today, testing it, and it wasn't working, and I had to do surgery, and I dug into it. Still don't know why it's not transmitting. So I'm going to have to replace the entire tracker on the payload here, but we'll get that done by Thursday, and we'll get it off to him. So we'll be sending everything down here. There's a lot of interest in ballooning now between various different colleges, too. I worked last year with the University of Oklahoma. They contacted me, and I helped them with some of their aerospace ballooning people on some projects they had. And just this week, Worcester, I think that's New York. It's a college in New York. It's a technical college. Contacted me, and they're wanting to do some high-altitude balloon stuff. And they were kind of searching my mind and asking questions, so I tried to help them out a little bit too. So a lot of people are getting involved into this. The guy contacted me, just got his tech license, I think this week. He saw that having his license was going to be a benefit to this balloon launch, and that they really needed that license. So, the ballooning is starting to bring people into ham radio too, that to get their license. Rich mentioned 6 meters and using a Wyndham, I think on 6 meters earlier. And, man, it don't take much antenna for 6 meters. That band is called the Magic Band, and it is It's magic, believe me. And I remember in early 1960s, that was my favorite band, 6 Meters AM. And I don't have a 6 meter beam or anything up here, but I've even got a 40 meter delta loop that will actually operate, 40, 20, 10, and 6. If you look at the match and the SWR on 6, it's just really great. But it doesn't take much to put and these off-center feds, I think they go like 80 through 6 meters. And, it doesn't take much to get a 6 meter antenna up. Just a plain old 6 meter dipole is something that you could throw up in a tree, pull it up with a rope, and you're on the air. And again, when that band opens up, it is clear and it is a lot of fun. And you'll talk to people all over the country, and you'll work DX on it too.
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorites. I've got the cobweb, the MFJ cobweb that'll go up to 6 meters, and I've got a 3-element beam. And like Rich was saying with the HF propagation, whenever you have a 6 meter opening start in Europe, you pretty much have a good idea it may make it stateside, and you can literally track that opening as it moves across the country. And those are some of the most fun evenings that I've ever had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had that's the most fun I've ever had, was on 6 meters as a holding both the novice and tech license at the same time back in 1964, man. Mm-hmm. And it was just a great band here.
One of my most interesting propagation experiences also on 6 meters. It was, I think, what you call spotlight propagation. There was an opening from here to Europe, and it was just to very specific areas like Denmark and Poland, mm-hmm. the Baltic areas there, and that was it. And I heard stations down in Florida working Spain and Portugal, but I couldn't hear those stations, and the stations down in Florida couldn't hear the mm-hmm. stations in the Baltic area, but I was able to work them. It was, just I love propagation. The whole that we don't really understand it is the best part of it, and it's just always fascinating and always a learning experience.
Yeah, you just don't know what you're going to get sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I'm seeing
predict,
people.
You can guess, but there's always going to be surprises.
Absolutely.
And I mean, there's people that even when the band's not open, you think it's not open, there's people running digital modes, FT8 and stuff like that on it. They're making contacts on it all the time, man. So.
Well, then you got the meteor scatter as well.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, get on 6 meters, guys. It's a lot of fun. Let's see. I was mentioning right here our launch coming up. Our launch coming up, W5KB 114 and 115 will be launched probably mid-November. And mid-November is coming here really soon. Next week is November, so mid-November is going to be here pretty soon. And we'll try to get those in the air, and we'll build up a neat web page so you can follow those as they fly down here. Let's see what else is going on here. Let me look here, give you an update right here real quick on where our 112 and 113 is. You look right over Algeria, over Algeria, W5KB 113 is flying. Actually, it hadn't woke up today yet, so it's going to be east of there probably a few hundred miles. It may be. It's going to be out of Algeria there to the east. So that one is flying today. If you look up here at the top for W5KB 112, it's been showing the same place for the past week. It has traveled on up north into the Arctic, and the sun. The highest sun up there is probably anywhere from 8 degrees to 12 degrees. It's very low, kind of like twilight up here. So we're not getting any transmissions from there. We're not going to hear from 112 there until it comes down out of the Arctic. And I look every day to see if it's showing back up. But maybe in the next week or so, it will show up. And who knows? It could show up over Canada. It could show up over Greenland. It could be coming down in Europe. We don't know where it is right now. It's just up there in the dark. But you can follow the balloons on our website at w5kub.com. Click on balloons, and we've got that set up where you can look at them with various different ways. And we have some video and some pictures and information about the balloons and the launch there. Let's see what else is going on here.
Well, Norm is wanting to know what ants are going to be on 114 and 115.
You say the ants are? Well, right now, Huey, Dewey, and Louie are on 112, and they're out of sight. They may not get down. So, and then on 113, we got Larry, Daryl, and his other brother Daryl flying that one. So I don't know exactly. We haven't named the crew yet for 113 and 114. I mean 114 and 115.
Yeah, right now they're all in their ice survival training, and the ones that make it are the ones we're going to be sending up.
Yeah. So guys in the chat room here, if you have any ideas for crew names, and we could go with a 2-person crew or a 3-person crew. If you got any great names for a crew for 114 and 115, please let us know, because we don't know that our other crews are going to be down yet, and they're still flying. In fact, the balloon is doing very well. If we look at, this, 112 has been up now 136 days, 11 hours and 44 minutes. It is really hanging in there at about 47,000 feet. Been solid. It started out about 51,000, but it has held its altitude very well. And then 113 was just launched 19 days ago, and that's a 119 heavy. We put extra cells, and we had a 100 milliwatt PA on it. It's heavy, but it's still flying good at 19 days. So we hope it stays up 136 days, just like the other one did.
Yeah, that's really impressive for those little balloons that you're using.
Yeah. The balloons actually have been a game changer. Hey, there's a good name right there. We got Ronnie, Donnie, and Lonnie. That might be good. And we also have Larry, Moe, and Curly. Now, you think Larry, Moe, and Curly could pass the strenuous test that we give these guys? I mean... Oh,
I think they could pass. I didn't,
Well, you think they have the mental capability to fly a balloon around the world?
That remains to be seen.
I'm going to write those names down, because those are good names. We got Ronnie.
Yeah, D8IOL's got a good idea. We need to get some lady ants recruited for these missions.
Ronnie, Donnie.
Yeah, Laverne and Shirley.
And Lonnie, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And then, of course, we got the Larry, Curly and Moe. Those will be good, too. All right. Anybody else? Let's see. Larry, Daryl, and my other brother, Daryl. Now, hey, Larry, Daryl, and my other brother, Daryl, are flying right now. They're on flight 113. They've been up for 19 days.
What about Groucho, Harpo, and Zippo?
Oh, there you go.
Well, maybe. Groucho, Marco, and Harpo. Yeah. There may be some people in the chat room who don't even know who those people are. Can't believe you guys didn't know Alan Freed. Man, can't believe it. It still bothers me. I'm going to have to send you out to a remedial history school if you guys continue on the show here, because you need to be up on world things. All right. Let's see. Mork and Mindy. Ebbet and Costello. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we got some names. We'll probably have a crew ready to go then.
Yeah, we can go with 3 blind mice instead of ants.
Yeah. Of course, hey, these ants, the next 2 flights, they have been in training for the last 6 months. It's just that we don't use their real names because, with the skills that these ants obtain, all these various countries are wanting them. And they could be kidnapped, anything, So they'll have fictitious names here just to protect them, but they have been training. Wizard and Dorothy. Jack Tripper and Ralph
Furley. Yeah, that was from Three's Company.
That was what? Oh, Three's.
That was from
Three's
Company.
Three's Company. Well, we need to put the girl in there too. Well, what was her name?
Oh, you've got Suzanne Summers.
Yeah, but I mean the name of the show.
Oh, her name was Chrissy.
Yeah, Chrissy. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, we may have a female ant on one of these flights. I don't know. We can do it. All right. Hey guys, I have been a builder and a home brewer for like 60 years or longer. That's kind of what I like doing. I don't hardly operate very much, but I build stuff and I experiment and I play with stuff. And I'd like to get a segment started on the show about home brewing things. And I need help because I can't do it every week. And I'd like to have help, anybody that could come on with a project that they have worked on or built or done. I'd love to have you join us, and we'll show your project and talk about it. And I would surely be able to talk about it. I just wouldn't be the one that built it or designed it. But be thinking about that. Would like to hear what you'd like to see as far as homebrew projects. It could be anything from antennas are simple to build and they're fun to build, and you have a lot of fun trying different antennas. I have a bunch of antennas out back. They're all homebrew. They go from extended double zeps to delta loops to off-center fed to fan dipoles to verticals, 3/8 wave vertical, a 5/8 wave or half-wave vertical. Got all that stuff out there, and it's so easy to construct and build, and you really get enjoyment out of that. So it can be about antennas, or it could be other projects. Whether you build a simple antenna tuner, an LC antenna tuner, with just a capacitor and a inductor, and that's what I'd like to try to start talking about some things like that in the show. HF bandpass filter, we could do that.
Yeah, get Martin on here to talk about those.
Yeah. And Martin has said that he'd be glad to come on the show. I think he'd be a great guy to have on, and we could talk about things like bandpass filters and so forth. I don't know if MFJ sells any bandpass filters, but a bandpass filter would be relatively easy to construct. I mean, it's not much in it. You just got to get the right values in there, to make it do what you want to do. So, yeah.
If I remember correctly, a bandpass filter was the first item that Martin built and launched the company with.
I believe you're correct.
I think it was. I was thinking more on an RF level. I think his was an audio.
His was audio.
Bandpass filter, but you're right. Martin would be a good person to talk about bandpass filters. So they all would be the same, whether they're audio or RF and so forth. I'll get Martin on here. Maybe next week or the week after. We'll get Martin on here and we'll talk about some bandpass filters, and we'll throw some simple designs up and talk about how easy to build it. Let me say one thing. Let's say the show will be on next week. I think it's next week. I haven't looked at the calendar. The week after is election night, I think, in 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. We probably will not have a show on election night. We pull so many people in our show. The White House has asked us to try to, to postpone our show on election night to help, people be able to go.
Yeah, we don't want to steal all the ratings from the other news companies.
Yeah, it would allow more people to go and vote instead of staying home watching our show. So we probably will cancel our show on election night, and that would give Glenn and me a chance to have a week off and rest.
Now, while you're talking about all this building, let me tell you about some of the things I'm starting to play with. I have discovered the e-ink displays, and I have been kind of watching and researching them for a little while. And I was sitting in a Dr. Duino seminar that he was doing on the e-ink displays, and I have fallen in love with those things. Super low power. They retain their display when the power is turned off. It's a really, really cool technology, and I'm going to be starting to work with those here real soon.
Well, that'd be cool. Maybe you can talk about some of those things on the show here. Yeah. Digital modes. Hey, our friend there, Tim, WB8HRO, he's asked about digital modes. I'm not a digital person. I did try some FT8 last year just to see what all the fuss was about, and it's kind of neat, It kind of made some contacts, and, that's kind of cool. FT8 to make a contact where you probably couldn't make one on voice. It's just, it's just, you don't even need an antenna. Just hook a light bulb up and set it in a window, and you'll make a contact with FT8.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So, but we can still do that. We just need somebody that's energetic and can talk about the digital modes. Maybe that's you, Glenn. I don't know. Maybe it's somebody, one of our viewers.
Actually, I haven't worked them very much. I did build the JT65 transceiver several years ago, so I'm very familiar with JT65, but I haven't been able to keep up with some of the FT8, the FT4s, and stuff like that. That's all on my list of things to do, but there you go. Brett's offering to do digital modes for us.
Okay, that will be good, and we can get Brett, WY7BG, and he can talk one night about digital modes, so we'll just bring him on the show, and hey, he can be the digital modes guru for the show.
There you go.
Yeah. Look at there, Brett. You volunteered, and now you're stuck with it, man. You're now the Amateur Radio Roundtable
just like
digital
the military,
guru.
You volunteer or we volunteer you.
We will pay him just like we pay Glenn and others. We'll start you out at the same rate. We're equal here, equal opportunity here as far as pay. Well, that's great. Any other questions? Let's see.
You started me out where I had to pay you $20 a show.
Yeah. I am big single pedal keyer. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. When I was got my novice license in the '60s, I built a keyer. There was one in the handbook, and believe it or not, it was a tube. It had a tube in it. I think it was something like a 12A T7 or 12A U7. It had a 9-pin little tube in it, and man, the transformer I used this thing, I think, came out of a TV. The transformer must have weighed probably about 10 pounds. And, hey, it had a weight control and a speed control, and it was a keyer, just like, you would buy from somebody. Now, of course, today they're much easier, or I'll say much simpler probably to build. They're all, solid state now, and there's probably a lot of plans out there to build them. But most rigs now have keyers built in them. I'm guessing don't most Glenn? What do you think? Don't most new rigs have a keyer built in? Yeah,
most of the modern rigs have a keyer built in.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back to like my TS 2000 and even my 570. It does not have a keyer in it, but all the new ICOM stuff and Yaesu has a carrier built in it. Let's see. Let's see.
Yeah, that's another one. WindLink there. That's almost a whole separate animal all by itself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even understand the WinLink. I know it's email across ham radio somehow, but gee, man, I mean, you know.
It's starting to make its inroads into the emergency communications aspect. It's becoming the staple for EMCOM stuff. So finding somebody for WinLink might be pretty good.
Yeah. How's the ham radio Wi-Fi linking stuff going, Glenn? I hadn't heard much about that lately.
It's pretty much focused now down to the AREDN model and setup. So those are pretty much where everybody's gravitated to, and they're still going strong. You know, they're doing their MCOM as well.
Yeah. Well, hey, I was pleasantly surprised with Xfinity today. I got an email where they have just upped my speed again. Well, now I got like 880 megs up, down, 880 down, and a whopping 20 up.
You're better than me. I think I've got 20 down and 5 up.
Yeah.
But I'm in Mississippi, you know. So,
well, yeah,
I mean, it takes about 10 years for the bits in Tennessee to cross that state line and get down to me.
You know, we don't really have any real other alternative here, unless some of the telephone carriers now. You know, there are a lot of telephone carriers are advertising internet. You know, the 5G and stuff, and
I think my cell phone's got faster internet than my house internet.
Yeah, so you know, but we don't have any other real alternatives here. I mean, AT&T doesn't have anything. I mean, you know, we're just lucky to have the Comcast Xfinity cable here.
I'm
wish
pretty much the same. I've got AT&T and I've got Comcast, and I think those are my two choices.
Yeah, I would love to get on some fiber or something, you know, but you know, they advertise, you know, hey, we got fiber now, but when you put your address in, it's like, you know, nearest one's 500 miles away.
No, I know for a fact that there's gigabit fiber one street over that runs down to the school, but they never put in the taps for the residential areas.
Yeah, you know, you get you a couple little ubiquity things here.
Yeah, I can just sneak in there and splice their fiber and
tap into it over there and put you a deal up at your house, and you know, you can get it here.
Yeah. Do you promise to bring me a file and a cake?
Yeah, we'll put that in here. Let's see. Let's see. Chuck said he got the same email, 600, 800. Yeah, that's the email I got.
Yeah, and then there's also Starlink.
But I'm gonna tell you, he did. Yeah, Starlink. You know, Starlink's about $100 a month, and it's not great. We got some friends that got Starlink over in North Carolina. They're out on the lake. They live in a houseboat, and they put Starlink in because over there in the mountains there's no internet for anybody basically. And I think they're getting like on Starlink. I think they're getting like 20 megs down or something. But that was blazing fast for what they used to have.
Oh yeah.
You know, let's see. Somebody said, let's see. Yeah, Chuck was talking about. Yeah, the speed there. You know, hey, I checked. Here's the deal. I checked the speed on when I got that email. I checked my speed with speedtest.net. And man, it took off. Wow, man, about 300-400, but then it just kept coming back. You know, it ended up about 190. You know, I'm thinking, oh, this is just not great. 190. So I went to the other speed test, which is speakeasy.net. Speakeasy.net, and ran it on there, and it showed a true 800 meg download. So speedtest.net showed about 180, 190. Speakeasy.net showed almost 800, and that was going to the same location in Memphis. So I don't know. You know.
Well, it all depends. You know, some of the speed test sites don't have that gigabit connection, so
Yeah.
you're kind of limited by what they have, and they haven't updated their networks
Yeah.
yet. So, those speed tests are kind of a relative thing, and you just kind of hunt around to find the best one.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, that's just what Brett is saying. They're not really reliable.
Just checking the chat room out here. We got some interesting comments in there.
And I don't know if you've ever put a cutting torch to fiber, but it's a little messy.
Cutting torch to fiber?
Yeah. Yeah, and that Tim was talking about having somebody from Air Force Mars. That's a little bit out of my expertise, but
yeah, I was in Army Mars for a number of years, but I finally got out of that. Let's see.
I have worked in their that crossband.
Woo! Look at here. Look at there, man. Chuck, WA7 JOS. Google Fiber will be there Monday. 1 gig up and down, $70. Man, that's a good price for gig service.
How do I get in on that act?
Google Fiber, man. I'm gonna contact Google Fiber. I'm gonna tell them we got the hottest show in the world here on the internet, and we need it. And they need to do that for us since we have the hottest show. Now, I'm not gonna really let them know that hot meaning it's like 103 degrees in here, but
yeah,
we got the hottest show, so we really need that gig fiber in here. I'm gonna contact Google.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's in Salt Lake City, so that's kind of a little bit far for us.
Yeah. And there's Chris down there, down in Texas. He's getting fiber for $50 a month. Oh, Grande.
Yeah. Grande, yeah, that's that fiber that crosses the border, I think.
Grande. That sounds like
they get it from Taco Bell.
Yeah, sounds like it's coming from Mexico. Grande internet, man.
But heck, for $50 a month, that ain't bad at all.
Yeah, not bad. He said Austin had AT&T they were gigged there for $70 a month. I don't know. I guess we're paying too much here, but we don't have an alternative, man. Okay.
Well, particularly like in my neighborhood, everything's already been buried or in the place, so they'd have to completely rewire the whole area.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to open the phones in just a minute. We've been talking here about an hour. I did want to get some participation from our viewers out there and hear their comments and so forth instead of having to read it here in the chat room. So everybody just stand by a minute, and I'm going to open the phone lines when we come back, and we will we'll continue with the show after the show. So stand by.
LDG Electronics provides state-of-the-art antenna tuners for every amateur need. From QRP to QRO, fixed stations, portable and remote, an LDG tuner will match your radio to your antenna using our lightning-fast, proprietary tuning algorithms. LDG is a family-owned and operated company dedicated to bringing innovative, quality products to the amateur market. All LDG products carry a full 2-year warranty that is fully transferable. Support is only a phone call or email away. We're always here to help you. Visit us on the web at ldgelectronics.com.
Keep your competitive contesting edge with ICOM. ICOM's high-powered base stations cut through the pileups, letting you work the bands and record those contacts. Contest from the comfort of your home or remotely with the RS-BA1 app. The IC7851 gives you a new window into the RF world and is HF excellence unparalleled. With faster processors, higher input gain, higher display resolution, and a cleaner signal. It is truly the pinnacle of HF perfection. It has dual receivers, digital IF filters, high-resolution spectrum waterfall. The IC7610 is a direct sampling, software-defined radio that has changed the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. Features include RF direct sampling, 110 dB RMDR, independent dual receivers. Create your own band opening with the IC9700. This transceiver brings direct sampling to the UHF-VHF weak signal world. This all-mode transceiver is loaded with innovative features that are sure to keep you very busy. It has fast processors, higher input gain, higher display resolution, and a cleaner signal. Included are real-time high-speed spectrum scope and waterfall display, smooth satellite operation with 99 satellite channels, dual watch operation, and full duplex operation in satellite mode. The IC7300 is the high-performance innovative HF transceiver with a compact design, and it will far exceed your expectations. This innovative HF transceiver digitizes RF before various receiver stages, reducing inherent noise in different IF stages. The IC7300 changed the way entry-level HF is designed. Features include RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, a large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope. For more information on ICOM radios, visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur. All right, we're back. Let me turn the echo off here. There we go. All right. So, hey, guys, if you're out there listening on WBCQ on shortwave, you've been listening to a discussion here with a bunch of ham radio operators, amateur radio operators. And we'd like to hear from you. If you're listening out there on shortwave, many of us were shortwave listeners when we got interested in radio. And if you're out there listening on WBCQ right now, shoot us an email to tom@w5kub.com, tom@w5kub.com. We'd love to hear from you. Send us an email. And let's see what else we got here. Hey, join our Facebook group. It's W5KUB. We got about 13,000 hams in that Facebook group, and we'd love to have you in the group here with us. I just posted. Let's see. Let me do this. I'm gonna put the Zoom link out, and I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put the phone number out first. There may be people want to call on the phone. There we go. All right, guys. Hey, if you want to call on a phone, if you don't want to call in on Zoom, here's the phone lines. We can take up to 1,000 simultaneous people. Our phone number is 716-427-1083, and it will answer. And you just put in the code 407051 #, and you will be in there with us. I'll have to watch the screen. So if you connect in, don't run off if I don't immediately bring you in the show. Okay, so let me also give you the Zoom again for everybody that wants to call in on Zoom, and we can do that. Well, I'll give you both here, right here in the chat room. Okay, here we go. I'll even post this in the chat room, both the phone and, there we go. There we go. That'll help right there. All right, let's see if we can get anybody in here to continue the show with. Again, folks, Amateur Radio Roundtable, we kind of shut it down, and we're in the second phase of the show tonight. It's called After the Show. This way you don't have to sit there for 2 hours. The show is an hour long, and then we have After the Show, which sometimes this is where all the fun is. After the show, Amateur Radio Roundtable, and this will go on for about 1 hour here. We've got a 2-hour time slot on shortwave, and we'll be here for the next 1 hour. All right, who's going to be the first person that calls in? Let's see what we got here. If you don't want to hear the music, you better call in. All right, I'll put it down kind of low right there. Glenn, if you hear the music, stop, yell. Did you say something, Glenn? Your mic is muted. Is your mic muted?
My mic is muted. Yeah, they need to come up with some better music there. Yeah, I wish I could change that music somehow, but I don't know if I can. I don't think I can. All right. Well, hey, let's see what we got going here.
All right. Well, we talked about a lot of things tonight. We did an update on our balloons, on 6 meters, CQ magazine, Antarctica trip. Boy, a lot's going on right here. I know the next couple of days I'm going to be really, really busy trying to get these trackers working and get them FedExed out of here down to Todd. And then once that happens, it's out of my hands. Todd's going to launch them down there, and now I'll be free to kind of maybe start a different project. One of the projects I'm working on is building and trying to improve a little 100 milliwatt power amplifier that we were running on the trackers, and that's a lot of fun looking at it on the spectrum analyzer and picking out the various components to build it. And there's only about 5 or 6 components in the entire PA system. You got a MOSFET transistor, and you got a blocking capacitor on the input and one on the output, and you got 2 resistors, and basically that's the entire amplifier. So pretty simple to build.
Yeah, that's really amazing, getting that 10 milliwatts out of that thing just from solar cells.
Okay, all right. I saw Charlie down in Uruguay in the chat room.
He popped in, but I think he had to pop out.
Did he leave us? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
All right. Well, look, depending on participation or precipitation, whichever one we have tonight, we may not be here very long, guys. If you want to talk, here's your chance to connect with us. Did I hear somebody? No, I didn't hear anybody.
Nope.
Still hearing music. Yeah, we got. Who's that? That is Norm. There we go. We'll get Norm in here. The font's so small on my Zoom, and it's about 6 feet away from me. It's hard to read here.
Oh, there's somebody. There's Norm.
Yeah, there's Norm there. All right, so let me change this. Hello, Norm. How you doing, Norm? Can you hear me?
He's still connecting to the audio.
Is it still connecting? All right, guys, you can dial that phone number right there, or you can click on the Zoom link, and I just pasted it in here. I'll do it again in case you need it here. There we go.
Yeah. Now you need to unmute, Norm.
Unmute your microphone. You click on the Zoom link, and I just pasted it in here. I'll do it again. There you go. You got it. Let me see if I can move this.
Yeah. Now you need to unmute, Norm.
I am.
Yeah, Norm, you need to mute the audio on the show. Go to the video player of the show and mute that audio so we don't hear feedback.
I am.
Yeah, Norm, you need to.
I am.
The audio.
Okay.
I think he'll get it.
Yeah.
I had it on the YouTube on my large television in the background.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Okay, cool. Hey, Norm, where are you?
I am in Harvard, Illinois.
Illinois. All right, man. Very good. Well.
Yes, I have attended a couple of the ham fests with you, Tom. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. Were you at Xenia this year? Did you?
No.
You didn't make it appearance? Okay.
No, I have lost sight in one of my eyes, so I don't drive.
Oh, okay.
So I'm kind of confined.
I'll tell you, man. Hey, it's getting where I don't know. I'm starting to get a little worried about my nighttime driving. I'm starting to see starburst in lights.
Yeah.
And that's starting to concern me a little bit. It's not real bad, but I don't like seeing that. Oh man. Well, I guess I could get that fixed. I could go somewhere and lay down and they could shoot that laser in my eyes and all that. But hey, man, I'm afraid of that kind of stuff, man.
One One
Well-
of the evenings I saw that you had mentioned that you were going to be doing a little bit of on air after the shows.
Well, you know,
Possibly.
we did that a couple weeks ago. We did that, and you know, it was so much static, and it really wasn't that pleasant, I think, for the show. You know, we did webcast the last hour of trying to make some contacts, and we made about 10 or 12 contacts, I guess, of people that were watching the show. But it was like, man, pulling teeth, man. It was hard. A lot of static. It didn't sound very good, so I felt like that was kind of something that we probably.
Well, I knew that I had heard that it was discussed about
Yeah.
to choose where to start and see where, if anybody could make something go.
Yeah, well, you know, and I still would love to do that. It's just that probably it's not good for the show just because the quality of different signals. Some people are going to be really scratchy and, you know, you're not going to get through, and some are going to be good. But I would like to, we used to have a net before the show on 40 meters, and I would call it, and we used to have a lot of people from the group here check in the net before the show, but that takes another 2 hours of my time before the show, and sometimes I don't have time to get things ready here, so we kind of quit doing that. I've always wanted to have a net, you know, for our group, Amateur Radio Roundtable, and I've asked probably 99 times for any volunteers here that would like to, you know, become part of our team here and maybe call a net. And I'd love to have a net on multiple bands, like on a night, you know, and hey, the
I
net
just
control.
got my little toy radio here that I've had since '86, so
Yeah.
it's seen its better days.
Well, but you know what? It's still a lot of fun to operate, though, and a lot of times, you know, the older, lower power radios sound like an amplifier at times, you know, just when the conditions are good. But again, I'd love to have somebody that would like to join a team here and call some nets for the show. I would try to check into the nets. I just would not want to run it for an hour. And then, you know, hey, our net control specialist could kind of report into the show and say, hey, we had 25 check-ins tonight, or we had some new people that joined tonight, or there's some questions came up, or whatever. But so far, I'm getting no takers on here.
Well, I've never run a net. I wouldn't even know how right now.
Well, you know, there's
I got
always
a lot of time though.
always a first time, and you know, if you ran it, it would be your net, and it would be like you want it to be.
Right.
You know, it'd be your net, and if people don't like it, they can just leave. You know, we have our own. You know, we have our own DMR talk group, 31693 for our show. We've never used it. That talk group is just sitting over here not being used. So I wish people would start using our talk group, 31693, and that would also be something that we could have a net on right there. Or if we could start getting some activity on that, I would just turn it on during the day and leave it on while I'm working back here in the shack. And you know, if anybody wanted to say hello or talk to me, they just go to talk group 31693, and it'd be like an intercom. You know, we'd be here. So.
That's correctly.
I need some help, guys. If you got, you know, let's start some nets up. Let's get 31693 talk group going.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. I'm trying to think of. I had something else to talk about, but I forget. I can't remember what it was. So yeah, a project like, you know, these filters that people use on HF, when they go out on field day, they put these filters on their rigs to because that way they're able to operate, you know, multiple bands out there without interfering too much with each other. And
Yeah, that's what we actually
Yeah.
use a beam, and we've got filters for each band, and so
Yeah.
you can actually be running 20, 15, and 10 simultaneously on the same beam, and they
yeah.
don't hurt the transmitters at all.
That is cool, man. Yeah. just like a big duplexer, and just you put it on there and tri-band. You work 3 bands on the same beam. Now they got to be aimed the same place though. You can't aim them.
Yeah, that's the downside. We also our club typically runs a 40-meter metal dipole up in the air, and so we've got another filter for it because of the proximity to the beam. So we can run 4 bands on just 2 runs of coax.
Yeah,
and it works out really well.
Yep,
Pretty awesome.
Let's see here.
Yeah, we got ours from DX Engineering, I believe.
Yeah.
Nope, I just got me an old 4-band vertical ground plane.
Well, hey, that's all it takes.
Yeah.
You know.
I never did get up to fix my cobweb this summer.
You know, at one point in time, I think when I was in the Air Force and I was out in Oklahoma, I had my rig with me, and hey, I had a high gain 18 AVQ, just a single vertical out in the middle, ground mounted out in the backyard, and hey, we had a water faucet that always dripping. So guess what, man? I put a hose on that thing and ran that hose out there, and it always dripped on the antenna ground there, man. Made use of it. Hey, and you know, it's kind of interesting. You know, out in Oklahoma, all you got is tumbleweed and stuff, you know. And it's kind of neat there. Around, you know, probably a 10-foot space around a vertical. You might have some green grass, and everywhere else it was brown. So if anybody asks me, I say, yep, that's the RF, boy. The RF makes that grass turn green right there.
Yeah, but Norm, you're talking about rigs. I've got a Heathkit HW16 I keep working on wanting to refurbish and get it going again.
Yeah, well, mine consists of an old Kenwood TS140. I got a Ubitix version 6. I also have the Spitix.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. Well,
But,
hey,
it came to me not operating, and I can't get a hold of those people, so I'm still working on that.
All right. Hey, the TS140 is a nice radio. It really is a small, compact HF rig. It's a nice radio.
Yeah, that was my second one. My first one was an old Swan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, with the SBitX, you're probably going to need to join their Facebook group because they do all their support through there.
I am in part of it. I just haven't had an answer yet.
Okay.
What's it doing or not doing?
It powered up. It started up my auto tuner. It went about 3 seconds and stopped. That was about it.
So it actually is transmitting. When you power up, it starts transmitting.
No, now it don't even power up. It sounds like something just went straight through the ground because something is just tap, 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 just as the power goes to it. And
Does your display light up and show anything? No?
Yeah, that almost sounds like your finals blue.
Yes, that's what I absolutely think.
So
your best bet would be to unsolder them and see if it'll still power up, and then, you know, go from there.
Although I must say, I got another package from SBitX, a little package of looks like finals. So there may have been a problem.
Probably.
So
yeah,
I will go back and inquire about that with them.
I think I don't know what that is. I'm guessing it's got that MOSFET, probably that IFR or something.
Yeah, it uses one of those IRF 610s, I believe.
Yeah, that's a real common MOSFET transistor. Yeah.
Yeah, they got them affixed in there pretty good. It's a little bit of a
yeah. They got the heat sink and all that. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Now, so Glenn, do you have one of those? Glenn, do you have that?
What'd you say, Tom?
Do you have that same radio that we're talking about?
Not me, no.
Okay.
That's the latest and greatest.
Oh, okay. I was trying to think. I would imagine. I'm guessing that those MOSFET finals are probably insulated and you know, with the little insulator behind them, and probably the little nylon bushing that goes in the hole, you know, to.
But it might have slipped.
Yeah, and Clifton in the chat room is saying that's a common problem, and that's why they send the extra finals.
Ah.
Okay.
So wow,
all
there
I
you
gotta
go.
do is
I didn't
dig it.
know. I didn't know they
No.
sent extra finals. Yeah.
No, they came a couple of weeks later in the mail.
Oh,
Just another-
okay. I got you.
And with no explanation, nothing in it, just the parts. And it looked like a set of finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it is. Yeah.
More than likely, that's what it is, and they expect there's some kind of problem.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
okay.
I'd pull those things out, pull them out, and then see if it powers up. And then if it does, then turn it off and slap those new finals in.
Yeah. Okay.
And I bet you it's going there.
Well, it's the way it acted. It looked like everything acted like the finals just,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's just sending it to ground now because the power supply just don't like it. Goodbye.
Oh, so that's that new one with the big display, isn't it? Didn't it have like a 4-inch display or something?
No, it's this. I have the 7-inch touchscreen.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's got a big
was
touch screen
beautiful.
on
It
it.
was
Yeah.
sitting here, and I was setting it up, and everything was working, and then I was tuning in some FT8 and powered it up. It was tuning up my LDG
Yeah.
tuner, and during the process of the tune, it stopped.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty nice. That's got all the software built in, doesn't it? For like digital and so forth.
Yes.
That's really nice, man. The way you've got
But
that.
it's in very early development. It was beautiful looking. It was just that I didn't get an opportunity to really operate with it very much.
Yeah, Farhan had that on display last year at Dayton.
Yeah. In fact, Farhan, I was looking for it right here. Farhan gave me a flyer that for that radio. I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
See if I can
it
find
really
it.
is.
I thought it was laying
Yeah,
right here.
it uses the Pi 4, and you got you hook it up, and it's got the openings in order to, if you want to use a second display. I mean, it's got some great features. It's just a matter that
Yeah.
mine croaked on the
Yeah.
working part.
All right.
But you face those things as you do these things.
I'm looking here through my stack of stuff.
There's Tim.
Yeah, Tim joined us. Oh yeah.
But my curiosity is, if the finals are that prone to blowing, just replacing them, is that going to buy you a more permanent fix, or is there an underlying issue that has to be addressed as well?
Maybe it's something they addressed with maybe the wrong finals to begin with.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
I haven't, like I said, I haven't opened it up yet. It's still sitting over here after when I had a sad face on for a few days, kind of.
And there may be somebody on that forum that may have posted something about the finals themselves rather than just responding to yours.
It's possible. That may be why they showed up.
Yeah, that's a possibility too.
So, anyway.
But yeah, that's one that I haven't had my hands on yet. And like I say, with the way I am right now, it'll probably be 6 months to a year before I can start playing with stuff for myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got the previous ones that he did. The
Oh yeah, those are nice.
yeah. The first one that came out, they had that resonator in it and the voltage tuning. It drifted like crazy, I think.
Yeah, but no, when he
And
went,
then
to
he
that,
came out, and then I put an Arduino in one, a DDS in one,
right.
to make it VFO, and that worked pretty good. And then Farhan sent me a one of the he came out with the one with the DDS in it.
Yeah,
He
the
sent me one.
Arduino module.
Yeah, that one. He sent me that.
Yeah, that was pretty nice. I like that little radio.
Yeah. I'm not using them. I've got them
Yeah,
over
I've
on
had
the
the
shelf.
Bitix 40 and the Ubitix B5 and 6.
Yeah, I think the last one I did was the V5. I reviewed that one for QST probably about 2 years ago.
I think I've got a video up on W5KUB here with the BitX. Let's see. One of the first ones. I had the board. I had the board and the microphone. You know, the little condenser microphone. I had it on a little 6-inch piece of wire. And
yeah, that was like the.
And I had
V3.
clips on I clipped my antenna to it, and I got on 40 meters. And my very first contact with it wasn't even in a box. The board's just laying out loose. My very first contact was a ZL in South Africa, and man, he was booming in here. And,
actually, I think that was the BitX 40, Tom.
It might have been the BitX 40.
BitX 40 with the little microphone element.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But he, that was my first contact. What, maybe, I don't know. The thing wasn't running much power. What was it running? Maybe 5-10 watts? I don't know.
Yeah, about 5 watts.
And here I am talking on sideband on 40 meters to South Africa.
Yeah.
It's kind of a neat video. If you guys check our site out and just search in W5KUB under YouTube for, I don't know, what do you call it? BITX 40 or
BITX 40.
Yeah, I think.
Or just search for BitX.
I think you'll find it here. In fact, I'm gonna look for it right here. Let's see. I can probably pull it up. Let's see.
Maybe I'll have my son set up the camera and I'll try to fix that SBitX and I'll send you a video.
There you go.
If I can get it to work.
Typing on the
Well,
wrong,
you know, if you make more
keyboard.
smoke, we got to see those too.
Hey, yeah, I know. It's all part of the learning curve. And
Well, that's the one thing that I always say is you learn more from failure than you do from success.
I know they've always said never let the smoke out, but
That's it.
sometimes it escapes anyway.
Yeah, that's sneaky stuff.
Yeah. Doesn't need much.
Yeah, but you'd be amazed how much smoke they can put in those little capacitors.
Yeah. They can contain quite a bit.
Yes. You see, the thing is, you know, from the era we're from, we had the old the carbon fiber resistors, not the metal
Right.
film ones. And man, when one of those went up, it went up. The thing caught fire and everything.
All right, guys, I want you to watch
Right.
this. Let's see. Let me let's see. Watch this. Let me stop the phone.
Whiskey
Let's see.
5, Kilo Uniform Bravo, W5, Kilo Uniform
Look
Bravo.
at me holding a microphone.
Okay, Whiskey 5, Kilo United Bravo, is that right?
Oh, that's correct. And we've got a BITX 40, a BITX 40 board here, probably less than a half a watt. It's amazing. Over.
Okay, thank you, Father 9. I understand your QRP. Your 4x4, 44, okay.
Roger. Thank you very much for the contact. ZS6CCY W5KUB near Memphis, Tennessee.
Charlie Yankee, good night.
And look at there, Glenn. I got my Cannon WD-40 there if it needed a little bit. You see that?
You know, that's to help the electrons move down the antenna.
Yeah, it was. Let's see. Let's see.
You know, grease the skids a little bit.
Here's the video that we did with S-meter. We added S-meter to it. Ron, PA3FAT, has got the VFO software working, and I built a little VFO or audio amplifier board last night to give the Arduino a little bit more signal. But I'm going to show you how the S-meter works. That's where we were adding different things to it. That's where we added the S-meter then. You know.
Was the one that was calling CQDX, and the guy in Africa happened to go back to him. So when the two of those ended their conversation.
Okay, I'm going to tune, see if I can find someone else here.
5-10 minutes.
Let's see. You know, my first contact was with Africa, South Africa. And then a month later, the only other contact I made with it was South Africa. Yeah. Here's a bit of BITX40. We put it in a little box. That's a Dish TV box right there. I just stripped everything out. And let's see what else we got here. There's the dish satellite box, and we're adding it in. We got a little speaker in there and a board, and built the power supply. We got the DDS in there.
Thank you for the big report out of Item Soul. You allowed yourself. And thanks for those wishes, all of which are reciprocated to your household. Good evening, K5JUC, ZS16.
There's the ZS again. He was always in here, man.
CCY. This is Whiskey 5, Kilo Uniform Bravo, QRP.
Good, QRP.
Yeah,
Oh,
this is
look at there.
Whiskey 5, Kilo Uniform Bravo, QRP. Whiskey 5, Kilo Uniform Bravo, over.
Okay, now what's the Whiskey 5 Kilo? Whiskey 5 Kilo, low power?
Yeah, this is Whiskey 5, Kilo Uniform Bravo. Whiskey 5, Kilo Uniform Bravo, running about 5 watts. 5 watts with a BITX 40, over.
Okay, I haven't got all of your call. I know it's low power. Whiskey 5 Kilo something.
That was the second time I worked him. Didn't do quite as good that time, but and we've had Farhan on the show here before. And let's see. Okay. Well, anyway, that was some of our experience with the BITX 40. I just continued to telephone. I turned the phone line off because we're not getting anybody calling in, so I just shut the phone line down. You can still join us on Zoom if you want to zoom in. I'll post the link again for Zoom. Just disregard the phone number there. Okay. Well, Glenn, I hope the sun's shining the next couple of days. It wasn't shining much today. I needed to test the
not
solar
at all.
cells.
Rained all day here.
Yeah,
it's starting to get cold though too. It was like 60 on the way home from work tonight, so I think we're
Yeah.
going to be jumping straight from whatever little fall we had into winter here pretty soon.
and I tell you, the wind we had some high wind today. It really brought the leaves down. That and the rain. I had all the leaves up out of the yard, and now it is covered solid with leaves again. And most of the trees in the yard hadn't even started turning yet. I don't know where all the leaves are coming from, but man,
Probably your neighbors. That's where
Well,
mine come from.
I got most of the trees here. I've got the thing is, I got so many trees that even if one or two shed leaves, that's more than you should have. You know.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a tree on my property, and yet I get about 18 bags of pine needles and leaves every year.
Yeah, yeah.
then I
It's
spend
hard
half
to
the
recycle
spring-
the pine needles, though.
Yeah. Then I spend half the spring digging the rest of the leaves out of the pool.
I have to dig them out of my duck pool every day.
Well, this year I got lucky, if you want to call it that. I had the pool develop a leak, so I drained it and shut it down while it was getting fixed, and got the net over it before I started refilling it. So hopefully I won't have as many leaves to deal with in the spring.
That's always good to have a cover for them.
Yeah.
You know, I had a pool once. I put in a 40-foot gunite pool, Glenn, over my home in Marion, and we were not swimming in it. I mean, had to work on that sucker all the time.
Yeah, it's not worth it. And I mean, it's real tempting just to fill it in and be done.
And each winter I would shut it down. You know, I'd super shock it and cover it. You know, but one year I had to make a trip over to Hong Kong, and it was time to shut the pool down. And I said, I'll do it when I get back. And I came back, and it looked like somebody had poured green paint in it. It was the thickest green water I've ever seen. And I had to run that sucker day and night for about 2 weeks and super chlorinate it. Finally, I got it clean. Finally got it clean, and then I put the cover on it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the way. And man, chemicals are getting expensive these days.
Yeah. You know, some of my friends have saltwater pools.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would be.
It's supposed to be really good because the algae won't grow in it.
Yeah.
And it's just a very mild salt. And once you get the system in place, it's much less expensive and more efficient to run than the traditional pools.
Yeah.
I wouldn't see any problem with that. I was from Maine originally, you know. We were always in the ocean, so
yeah,
it makes you more buoyant, if anything.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, I don't like salt water in the eyes. You know, that's my problem. You know, I mean.
Now, I grew up in Miami, and we lived at the beach, but we had a freshwater pool at the house, and I'd much rather swim in the pool.
Yeah.
You didn't have to worry about the critters and stuff in the water.
If you just stay shallow, just don't step on the jellyfish. That's all.
Yeah, that, and well, whenever the bluefish ran, that was when it kind of got bad because the sharks and everybody had come right up, at the surf level, facing the bluefish.
Oh yeah. Well, we used to catch our mackerel when the alewives were running. That was about 60 years ago.
Same here for me. Let's see, it was 1970. Well, I moved away in like 77. No, 75, 76.
Yeah. I was 61.
Yeah, I graduated in 75 and immediately went to work at Pratt & Whitney Aircraft Government Research, where they did all the engines for the SR-71 and stuff like that. Just pure research. God, that was fun.
No wonder that thing leaks.
Yeah.
That thing leaked like a sieve on the ground.
They had you working on it. That's the reason the thing leaked. Out of high school, working on it.
Yep.
Man.
Now I got out of high school in 72, went right into service. Yeah.
No, it was one of those, just happened to be one of those computer whiz kids, and they offered me that job, and that was some of the most fun I ever did, because everything we did was pure prototype, cutting edge stuff.
That's the fun stuff.
Oh gosh, yeah, for a kid like me, that was the thing to do, man. It was just an absolute blast.
And all the stuff they come up with today with all of this compactness is just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, I got out of school in 66. That was 1966, not 1866, okay? I got out in 1966. I was going to
say, Lincoln was just president right around then, wasn't he?
Yeah. The grandkids used to always say, they would always kid me about when my birthday was. I think they would say 1842. They'd always do that. Anyway, I got out in 66. I attended 3 years in college until the military started trying to find me, and they finally found me. But I told them, you know, you're not going to get me. I'm going to join. So I joined, and it's been
Well,
four,
see, you
four-
didn't
4
do
years.
it right.
Yeah.
They saw me coming and they canceled the draft.
Well, well, it
They
was
canceled the
going-
draft when I went. I wasn't worried about the draft.
No,
Yeah.
I was really looking at the Air Force really hard, and then I said, nah, I was offered that job at like age 19. So I'm like, nope, I'm happy. Let me play
Yeah.
research the rest of my life.
As long as it's fulfilling.
It was fun. A
Well,
lot of fun.
Yeah, the draft was going pretty good back when I went in, and they had reclassified me as a 1A, meaning that
Yeah, you're going.
that I'm there for the taking, you know. So
Yeah.
so you know, hey, you're not getting me. I'm joining, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't going to let them do it. So I said, you're not gonna get me in the Army for 2 years. I'm joining for 4.
Yeah.
And then I ended up in this gung ho Air Force thing where we had played Army for 2 years. I was in this group for 2 years. We bloused our pants, and we'd go out on deployments, and we'd sleep in tents, and we'd, you know, M16s, and we'd guard the perimeter and do telecommunications and all that kind of stuff. So they still got me for 2 years playing Army, even though I was in for 4. But you know, hey, it's okay. It's okay. I used to have dreams. I used to have dreams that.
I just did my little over 4 years in the Navy. That's all.
Yeah, I used to have dreams that I'm supposed to be getting out of the Air Force like next week, and nobody has said anything. You know, have they lost my records? I mean, what's going on here? I used to dream. It's kind of like maybe high school. You dream about you forgot the combination of your locker.
Yeah.
You know, you have that dream for like, you know, a year, you know.
Or you dream that you went to school in your pajamas.
And you know, even right now, I don't know, this part of my life right now at my age, you know, I served in Korea in like 1971, 72, and every night, basically, when I go to sleep, I'm thinking about, I can tell you what my room looked like over there, where everything was, the color of the walls. I mean, it's just kind of like I was right there, right now. I don't know why I'm thinking so much about that now. Been 50 years, you know, but man.
Synapses are triggering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that too, Tom.
You know, there's Facebook groups out there now, and there's a Facebook group for Osan Air Base in Korea, and the people that have served there, they're all in this Facebook group, and it's getting kind of hard to find people that served 50 years ago in there. Most of them, you know, were in the 80s or 90s or whatever. I mean, you know, I'm an old guy, but I found, and I posted a picture of the barracks I was in. When I got there, I was assigned to the security service, which basically, you know, collected information, I'll put it this way, from North Korea and China, and we flew some drones. But so our workplace was up on a high hill, but the barracks they put me in was all on the other side of the base. It wasn't even with all the other people that worked there, and it was an old World War II type barracks, if you know what they look like, you know, the 2-story barracks. And I had a picture and I posted it there, and it had a building number on it, and somebody came back and says, hey, I was in that same building there. I was in room 6, 73 and 74, and I was there in 71, 72. So we started talking, and you know, I held a Korean call letters, ham call, while I was over there. My call was HL9KT. So I had some of my ham gear sent over. and I put a vertical antenna on the roof and used that. It was a big old fiberglass antenna, and I put it up on the roof. Now, when I left, they called me one day right before Christmas and said I wasn't supposed to leave until like the first or second week in January, and they called me before Christmas and said, "Can you get on a plane tomorrow, to get out here?" And I said, "Yep." So I didn't even have time to pack anything, radio gear, anything I'd bought, anything. I left it there for my buddies to pack up and send back. So I was wondering if that antenna had been up there for years and years and years, and I'm trying to find somebody that maybe was in that barracks maybe a few years after me that could remember that. And that'd be kind of neat to remember a structure or something that I put up there 50 years ago. So far, I haven't found anybody. Let's see. All right, guys, we are down to about 5 or 6 or 7 minutes from the end of the show. If you're out there listening on shortwave, this is Amateur Radio Roundtable, a show about ham radio. You're listening to the last hour, which kind of gets into everything. Maybe not ham radio, but we'll talk about anything here. Hey, join our show live. If you got internet, you can join us on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern on W5KUB.com. If you're out there internationally, our time is 0100 UTC Wednesdays, 0100. So most of you are sleeping out there, I guess. But hey, all of our shows are recorded. You can still find us on YouTube. Just search for W5KUB.
Yeah, I'm just here watching where my 3D printer is. It's coming in for Christmas. It'll be here Thursday.
Well, what's the first thing you're going to print with it?
I really don't know. Probably enclosures. I really like the enclosures. See, this is a really neat one. It's the Snap Maker, and it's actually a laser printer, a CNC machine, and a laser cutter in one platform.
Well, that's cool.
So I'm going to be cutting me up some Arduino enclosures.
Now, are you going to have to stay and watch it all the time, or will any of the cats go over there and paw at it while it's printing?
Well, there's the cool part. I got the enclosure for it too, so it's fully enclosed, and it's got a connection for the vent duct. So I'll cut a hole in the wall and have it vented directly outside.
Yeah, well, that's good. You got the enclosure.
Won't have any fumes to worry about, because some of the laser cutting does make toxic fumes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to set up a place for it upstairs and do it that way.
Probably can't see that. Let's see. You might be able to read it. Look at there.
There you go.
I can't tell much difference if I've got 300 megs down or 800 megs down. I mean, your day-to-day, even if I download big files at 300 megs down, they're pretty fast.
Right.
So, I don't really see a big difference here, to tell you the truth. Yeah, that wasn't cellular. That was not cellular data. That was my a speed test on my cable, my cable modem, my Xfinity Comcast is what that was, Mark.
Yep. Looks like my toys are going to be here Thursday.
Well, good. You have to show it to us on the show one night, and you have to make something. Make something on a show one night, man.
Do an unpacking.
Yeah, there you go.
I want you to make. I don't see how it does. I want you to make me a little crescent wrench that really, you turn a little the little thing in the center. I don't know how that does it. How's it do it?
What do you mean? Prints it?
My understanding is you can print a crescent wrench, and the little gear that you can kind of turn, that opens and closes it. that it'll
okay,
actually
you're
work.
talking about yeah.
The wrench will actually open and close. I don't see how they do that.
Speed
You
wrench.
got me.
I don't know, man.
I don't know how they do that.
So Clifton says, KE8FTH, my wife wonders why I don't throw anything away. I love the repurposed satellite box. Yeah, hey, I don't throw anything away, man. I mean, anything electronic or got wires on it, man, it goes in the closet or in the attic. This is just like an electronic supply store here. You need a part, I can probably find it for you. You know, we may have to unsolder it and pull it out of something, but I can find it for you.
And my wife hates me about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've started de-hoarding a little bit and only keeping the stuff that I'm really planning on using now.
A lot of the stuff went into bins, is out in my tool shed now.
Yeah. It's all in boxes up in the attic right now.
Well, over time I've thrown things away. I mentioned them here once before. 3 or 4 moves that I made back. I threw away probably 1,000 tubes, glass tubes, in boxes. They were in their tube boxes.
Yeah.
Most of them were in tube boxes. I threw away about 1,000. I put them on the curb for the junk guy to pick up. Man, and now people are looking for tubes, you know?
Yeah. Oh, they'll kill you for some tubes.
Man.
Absolutely.
I don't think I got anything here's got a tube in it anymore, to tell you the truth. No. Well, my amplifier's got tubes in it.
Yeah. I think my HW16 and the VFO is the only thing I've got that has tubes in it.
Yeah.
I don't have any.
Wow.
And actually, you know, I was there when they kind of made the transition from tubes to transistors. And for me back then, it was actually easier to design with the tubes than it was for the transistors.
Yeah.
Figuring out that bias point and everything like that.
Yeah.
That was something that I never could really get the hang of, was the analog side. I was a digital person.
Well, things are changing. I mean, you know, hey, back then with tubes, man, you could design an audio amplifier stage or something. Maybe you have 2 or 3 tubes in it and push-pull and transformers and all this stuff in it, you know, make that thing really neat. And now you can buy one little chip that does it all. It's all inside that one little bitty chip right there.
Yep.
Man, things have changed.
Now they've got the solid state, you know, amplifiers that are good for, 1,000 watts.
Yeah. And you know, some of these, I forget what the transistors are. And I was talking to Martin about it the other day. I've seen demos of a 1,000-watt amplifier, and they'll actually take a screwdriver and they will short out the antenna connector. They'll short it out or make it open, and it does not hurt I think they're MOSFETs. It doesn't hurt them. It doesn't damage them. And I was always afraid to get a solid state amplifier because, you know, as I was growing up, transistors were easy to destroy. But this thing, man, I mean, you can short it out. You can short it out, and it don't hurt the transistors.
Seems to me that would crowbar out right away.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, look, it is time. We're signing off of shortwave right now. Good night, everybody out there on shortwave, and we're going to go ahead and terminate the show. Thanks, everybody, for joining us and being with us tonight, and we'll see you next week for the show next week. And really, we're serious. We will not have a show on election night. We're gonna take a break election night. 73 to everybody. Enjoyed talking to you, and we'll see you next week.
33's time.
Yep. Good night. See you next week.
All right.